All right.
See
And
what's going
if any,
on here.
and good
Okay.
evening, everybody. And again, we're glad you're here. And if you do have any questions or concerns, either raise your hand or drop us a question or a chat or something like that. Raj will get to it. Anyhow, this is the Sunday night webinar, April the 7th, 2019. It's the only webinar in April. This is number 211. I'm Gene Clabago.
And I am Roger Carroll.
And we hope to have some decent things for you. And I have a couple of things that hopefully you'll find interesting. And with that, we'll get started. Let me minimize this. Let's see where we are here. It always takes a few seconds to get things going here for me. Okay, hey, the first thing I would like to do is this. We've been talking about all year about your professional development plans, and we have set up the site on the teacher website. But what we've been recommending is that you find some sites that you like and do subscribe to them, because for the most part you will not be overwhelmed with emails or whatever from them. So this is one of the ones. I think I've mentioned it before. I thought I'd go over a couple just in case you weren't here. Please join us again. Taking a look at these. This is a great little site, and it's kind of has things. You might say, well, it looks more elementary, middle school, but it does have some good articles that might help out your class, give you ideas, give you resources. So, you'll see along here they have free classroom ideas, free printables. They do have some career advice and some life and well-being. Some of those deals and so forth, there are things for sale. So, but again, if you just browse down through here, how to bring gardening into the classroom, teaching theme for language arts, 12 clever ways to solve the case of the disappearing pencils, apparently, things people borrowing. This one I like very much, and it doesn't, it said prompts for grades 4 to 8, and I found them. Well, here, let me just real quickly. Let's see if we can get here real quickly. It will see, like they'll pop them up like this, and they're not just questions. They give you a little picture with it that you could put up on the smartboard each day. Now, the only thing is with many of these freebies, they are free, but they want you to, they give you about 5 of them, and then I want my free prompts for middle school. And that means that they would like you to sign up to receive emails from the site here, which is not a bad thing, okay? It's not really a bad thing. And you can get them, and as soon as you get the first one, you can go in and unsubscribe if you find that this is not one of the sites that you like, okay? So that's, again, a really great site. We do recommend you take a look at the We Are Teachers. Another one, Education World. I know we've mentioned this one before, but boy, this is another good one. And, again, enter email for signing up, and they have some really good ones. There was one down here, and I can't remember what it is because I'm getting old, that I really, liked, and now it's gone. Okay, but anyhow, here's poems. It's Poetry Month, things like that. And they do have a lot of lesson plans, so forth and so on, that you might want to take a look at. Teacher Essentials, articles, so forth and so on. Over here, I had a flashback, Raj. As I was going through this, yeah. Do you remember WebQuests? I want to close.
Funny you mentioned that. In that other little thing we do, yeah. I've seen that referred to a number of times. I don't know if now it's more of a generic term, or as you're going to point out, is it a actual site?
Well, there is a
WebQuest archive. Yeah.
actually there are two sites. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I had to browse through it to remind myself of what it was. And these are really online, teacher-created programs where students do self-learning. And they're on many, many, many different topics. And you can go in there and find out by going to, just go to webquest.com. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can see these. And basically, there's a four-step approach. And you can take a look and see, there might be some good stuff here that you can use toward the end of the year, when you have those moments where that free time. Kids might give them something that might be of interest to you. Okay. And they might get into doing some of their own learning. There are, as I said before, there are two WebQuest sites. There's an older one that I think has web quests up to maybe 2015, 2016. And then they started a new site. The new site does cost, I think, $10 a year. But it will let you create quests, save them, so forth and so on. But I just thought that again, take a look through some of these things. Tech in the classroom, text to website reviews. Okay, things like that. Now, this printable templates. Well, again, I realize that we're trying to get away from printable things, but there are things that you might wish to use. Good site. If you have a few minutes, take a look at it. By the way, you're going to say, oh, but how am I supposed to remember this tomorrow or Tuesday? Again, what I will do is when we put up the recording of this webinar on the Teacher Resource Center, on that same page for April's recordings, I will put the list of sites. I'll put a document with the sites that I've used tonight, and you can go in there and check them all out and see what you think of them. Okay? Another thing.
Gene,
yes, sir.
Go back to, it caught my eye when you first went into We Are Teachers.
We Are Teachers. Okay.
The first screen you had up.
Okay, there we are.
There. Immediately to the Plinko. Did you look at that?
Where was this?
That's that little, it looks like a grid on a hill, kids running up and down with a lot of
this right here?
Beach balls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this the top stories of the week. Okay, yes. Okay, now I'm sorry. Now I got the Plinko game. Yeah.
Well, we might be, pushing the end of the year a little bit, and you do need the help of Mother Nature for a hill. But I passed that on this week to my daughters, who one the STEM teacher and the other the kindergarten teacher, as a year. It might be a real fun year-end activity. There's a video, and actually there's a page there. I think you can get all the details of it, but it looks like a great, fun physical activity. Maybe pass it on to your phys ed teacher who likes to do something at the end of the year.
Wow.
Since the parachute, right?
Yeah,
it's hysterical, and
thank you.
I like the idea that the kids team up and they do, across the bottom of the grid there you can see there's point values, and I think they kids form teams and try to score as many points as they can running up. I mean, it looks like something like Ellen DeGeneres does on her shows, or one of those all-inclusive game show atmospheres. But it's absolutely hysterical. Kids get it. Make a game of it, but you do need the help of an incline to make it work right.
Well, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Raj.
Oh, it is. It really is.
Thank you.
Yeah, take a look at that if anybody's looking for field day activity or something.
I bet you if it's Plinko, and you can even probably Google that and get it too. Yeah. Okay. Where am I? Who am I? Okay, again. Oh, here's another, the third, and probably, well, I have about 4 or 5 of these sites, but this is a great site too. Teach Thought, We Grow Teachers. Again, all kinds of this. I like this one because of the professional development. Some of this professional development is paid for, or they sell it. So, but there are some really good things in this site too. And if you go down, I like this one. In fact, I added this to our Flipboard. Dear students, asking for help is a strength. You know, some students are hesitant to ask for help. You'll think I'm stupid, that sort of thing. Great little article there. Reflective thinking with Bloom's taxonomy, I thought was good. Oh, and this one I like very, very much. 6 ways to support students without internet access in the home. We still have, I'm sure there are many students who don't have internet access, and some ideas that might help them become a little bit more tech literate and provide the technology for them. Okay, and as we go through, as you can see, there's 50 challenging activities to promote digital media literacy. I like this one. I'm not going to talk about it. I read it and I thought it was kind of cool. What students do better than teachers? Check it out. I think I put this in our Flipboard too. Okay? But again, great site. Now, our next one is the one that I get an awful lot from. And this one, when you first click on it, it does look like a kindergarten, or not kindergarten, but an elementary type website. But it is K-12 news, and it has a lot of great stuff, a lot of great articles. And if you go to our Flipboard, you'll find many of the articles there. And I recommend that you do 2 things. Number 1, subscribe by putting your email address here. You'll get, I think, once a week an article from them and so forth. They also have here lessons and teaching tools, video writing prompts. These are, let's see if I can get this real quick. Yeah, some video writing prompts that will, skydiving from space, the Christmas hotel, things like that you might be able to use to get students writing. Again, they do have, some of these are programs that are purchased, but they also have real teacher blogs over here. And every week you'll get one. What I recommend, now, let me just go back to their website. You'll see download your issue free Teach Hub magazine. Well, Teach Hub magazine is a great magazine, recommended very, very highly. The thing is, when you go here, let's see if I can, go here, you'll notice that you have to have a smart device to get it, okay? I have it on my Apple devices, and I do recommend it very highly. In fact, I recommend it so highly that I have created, thanks to Raj, a little video that will show you, give you a little introduction to this magazine. So hopefully that maybe, you can put the app on. It's absolutely free. Okay. This is a little app. Okay. Here is me starting my thing. This is my smart, or my iPad. And here is the Teach Hub. You'll see that it has a number of back issues. In fact, there are lots of them, and many, many, many great articles. Okay, this happens to be the one from March, the one at the top. And I mean, it's I'm not sure how my video works here. You'll find out that that some of them, you'll notice read here. I don't know if you can see that. Read, continue reading, download. You have to download them onto your device to be able to read them. And I did download this one just to show you what it was. You click it, you'll notice at the bottom it says swipe for articles, and I'm just swiping through quickly just to show you what it looks like, what's trending, real questions and answers, things like this. And if you swipe from top to bottom, you'll see that this is the major article. and you'll see that it's a pretty good, pretty well done article. And like I say, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time reading it. So when you get done, go to the top left, click on Issues, you're back. Okay? It's pretty simple. Lots of really good material here. And it's easy to read. It's not heavily duty stuff. You'll notice that this one I have not downloaded. I don't know if you can see this, but it says swipe for articles. And if you're not sure, notice click on it and you get a preview. Only the front pages, and it'll say preview. And if you say, oh, I want that trending cooperative learning techniques, I want to read that, then you can click that download, and you'll notice that it downloads, depending on your network, of course, pretty quickly. And once it's downloaded, you're good to go, and there it is. You can then go into the book or magazine and read it. But again, I recommend this very, very highly. This is a really good resource for materials. Now look, you can go all the way back. I think it goes back to March of 13 issues. So there are lots here, and it's all free. Okay? So you might want to take a look at those. Okay, I really do recommend Teach Hub magazine. Okay? You know what? I'm going to jump ahead now. If we have time, we'll go back. I have a couple more, but I want to take a look at a couple of weird things. This little article here is a video that looks pretty simple, and if you can go to it if you want, but it gave me an idea of something that's very, very simple. Have you ever wanted to create guides, templates, graphic organizers for your students, something that they can write on? And if you're like me, who is totally not very, very adept at these things, I just found out a way that you can do it, and I'm just going to show you an idea I had that you can maybe adapt into your own use. My idea was this. We were, for example, here's our story. We were studying the short story, and we went over the various elements of the short story. We read some short stories, and now I want my students to write a short story. Well, I don't want them just to start off writing a short story, so I want to give them some kind of a guide that they can use to get some ideas for their short story. And it's pretty simple. This one is very simple. What I did was I used PowerPoint. Okay? And what I did, I created some pages. You'll see here. These are the supposed main elements of a short story. You can see the exposition, conflict, rising action, okay? Climax. Okay. But now I don't want my students to have a PowerPoint to do this. So really simply, and the simple idea behind that is this. When you create this, get one slide for each. And by the way, I did it in blue just so you could see it. You would probably want to do it in white if you're going to print it out, of course. But go to File, go to Print. Now, notice it's going to print 6 pages. Well, I don't want 6 pages. So here's what I'm going to do. Over here, under Slides, you have a choice. This says print 1 slide per page. I don't know, hopefully you can see that. But if you click this, there are some options for handouts. I am going to say, well, just for the first sake, click this. 6 slides. Now you have a sheet that you can give the students where they can jot some ideas down in here, and it can become a guide to their writing their short story. Even better, why don't I do this? Okay, I may want to put some information in here. I want to talk to them about what the exposition is. You know, in here, here's what you should do. I can give them some directions. Over here, they can do it. Here's the conflict. What is a conflict? Again, I might want to remind them what a conflict is, put a few little notes in here. Over here, they can get some ideas for their story. And it's kind of a quick way to create a guide for your students to do a project or graphic organizer or something like that. I didn't have to design any squares or draw any lines or anything like that. It was all done for me. And I saw that as an article, from one of our favorite guys, and I thought, geez, that's a pretty easy idea. And again, it's a short story template, and it worked out pretty well. Okay. Well, let's see what we have now. Okay. Well, moving along here. The next thing, let me go here. Again, I have to figure out where I am and who I am again. Microsoft Online. You know that. This is our Office 365 Online. One thing I kind of, again, read this week that I thought I might like to remind you of or show you, deals with one of the tools or apps called Forms, and Raj has gone over that at great length, so I'm not going to go through Forms today or what it is, other than to say that Forms is a tool that you can create quizzes, surveys, things like that, and distribute them to your students, get the information back, correlate it all. It's really a great tool. But here are a couple of little ideas that you might want to use if you're going to use Forms. And this one deals mainly with math. Okay, I created a math one, and I just put in one question, okay? And here it is, 32 plus 65 is worth 5 points. Notice it says here, the value must be a number. Well, what I want to do, I'm kind of lazy. I want the program to do my correcting for me, okay? So, I need to put in the correct answer. You'll see the correct answer here. That's not what the students will see, okay? But I don't want them to write the number 97, N-I-N-E, 97. I want them to put a number in there, okay? So, let me show you what it would look like if I preview it. Here's the preview. Notice now, the value must be a number. Well, let's put 97, or let's put 87 in there just for the heck of it. I'm going to be wrong. And hit submit. Okay, I did the whole test. That only has one question. So it was submitted to the teacher. Notice now, because I had put answers in there, and I'll show you how in a minute, I can, as a student, view my responses. Oops, I got it wrong. Okay, the student can do this. Okay? All right. Now, let me go back here now. Back to here. This is where, as a teacher, I can create them. Let's add a question and we'll show you what we did. First of all, strangely enough, this has to be text. I am just going to put in 45 plus 45. Okay. Now, notice it says enter your answer here. Well, okay, but I want it to be a number, so they don't write 90 in there, the word. So over here on the right, the three little dots, notice it says restrictions. Click on that, and then the value must be a number. here are the restrictions here. You can have a number greater than or equal to, well, in this case, I just want to have, see, you can have some choices there, but I just want it to be a number. So this tells the student it must be a number. And if they try to write, print the word in there, it'll tell them that it has to be a number. Now I need to add the answer. And right here, I can add that in. Okay? And that's now done. That's how easy that is. Then, if I want to preview it, I can go to the preview. All right, 45 plus 45. Okay, there it is. The value must be a number. Okay, let's try. Notice as soon as I type the letter N, value must be a number. Okay, and now let's try 97, and let's try 90. Okay, and I'm going to submit this. Now I want to look at, notice I got them both correct. Notice, I don't know why they put a little check mark there. It's a green check mark, but they are correct. I got 10 out of 10. Okay, so just a little thing that you might want to use in, again, Microsoft Forms. Okay, let me go back here. It's a great tool, and that's just a little something that I'm not sure we mentioned, but I ran over that before. Also, by the way, if you are the teacher, what's nice about by putting in those answers, you can go to the responses up here, and now you can see, the responses. 2 people got it. One person put this. Okay, and you can review the answers, and then you'll see each person who did it. Okay, see, I did it 4 times, but you can see if your students hand it in, you can also see that, and it's already corrected for you. Kind of interesting. So there's just a little addition to forms that you might want to take a look at. Raj, are you with us? Do you want to?
I am with you.
And do you okay? And do you want to take over for a little bit, or?
Well, let me show you what I've been doing in the background.
Okay. No, absolutely, because I'm sure
you went off into Office 365.
Yeah,
Let's see what I was doing there.
Okay, let me just. Whoops, Roger. Yes. Okay, you should be able to be the presenter.
Okay. Before my malady, I set up in Microsoft Teams, and I showed this last week, or whenever it was we did it, a little add-in in Microsoft Teams called MindMeister, and I think I showed how to do that. There's the plus button. Let me just review this plus button. These are all tabs, even though they don't look much like tabs. I wish there was some way that made that more apparent, but you use it once, you'll understand that these are all tabs, and you can add more tabs going across in this, like, I guess you'd call it a toolbar. One of the recent add-ins is a feature called MindMeister, which is a mapping program, mind mapping program, and we showed a little bit of it last week. It's got a couple of interesting features. Gene, you mentioned on your iPhone, there's a MindMeister app, and it's got some nice little things there. But what I was doing while you were doing your presentation here, I was mind mapping.
You weren't listening?
Presentation. No, I wasn't. I was intently listening, and look at the mind map I was creating as you did it. I'm a little slow. I'm in a different room in the house with a little different Wi-Fi accessibility. But here we are. Here's tonight's webinar, and you were talking about we are teachers, and I mentioned Plinko. You were talking about WebQuest. Then we went to Teach Hub. mentioned a couple of things there, the back issues, the magazines,
Mm-hmm.
your short story ideas, and so on. So this is a way that it's very simple to add a map or direction or tributary or something, and you have a couple other tools. I showed that last time. As I get more familiar with it, I'll update my knowledge on this. But it's really a nice little clever tool. And one of the things I think we mentioned last time, you can share this out. You can actually have it appear as a presentation. But this is something maybe students, how much note-taking do they do anymore, and how do they do it? It's not, the spiral notebook with the margin and stuff. It seems that's quite a skill, and with technology now we can do a lot of things that maybe make them focus a little bit better on the note taking and relate things. Like here, this doesn't mention the order in which these notes were taken, and you can go back and number these. If I want to add to a web quest right here, I would click on the word quest. I come up to the plus button, and it gives me another option over here on the right to say, look at some back issues of web quests, or things that were, as we might remember those web quests, a structured internet search, basically, to answer questions and so on. But it's really kind of neat. Let me see if I can pull this back over here. You have all kinds of options with this, but again, I thought note-taking might be good. You mentioned the short story ideas. You can actually use a MindMeister prompt to go through a short story. I think I'm gonna, one of these, it actually was kind of like a template for short story writing or short story reading as you study one, and it did the rising action, the characters, the falling action, and so on. So students can give a little visual structure to their reading, or, as you mentioned, maybe to writing a short story. So this is really kind of neat. It's again, it's called a MindMeister, and if I go, I gotta find the tool now where I can go back to my. I exploded this so we could see it better. Let's go back here. There it is. This little tool here lets me go to full screen, expand the whole tab, and you can reload things. But we were talking about the MindMeister. It's an add-in. It's free, but you can, if you want, donate to their corporate headquarters and upgrade for a yearly fee. But this is fairly new. I brought it up to a committee a couple weeks ago, and they're exploring it because they're talking about, again, my training, reflecting on your thought through a process or a study and so on. These are some of the tools, and again, I'll go back over those maybe next time. You can do some nice things. You can change the color here. I want to make that a different color background. I can number the squares and so on. And I think I pointed out last time, you can actually, and it's really kind of neat, is this whole thing is a presentation. You can auto create a presentation. It takes all of the little loops and branching that you do and puts it into a presentation with a little bit of control over what goes first. I don't know if I want to start that, because I don't know if I'll be able to stop it. But it's really a neat tool. Another new thing again, we're in Teams, so if you're working with your classroom in Teams, you can build this into any one of your channels, which here are channels created from previous webinars. There is another new tool. Let's see, this is called Polly. You mentioned forms. Polly is a real quick poll. We talk about exit tickets from class or from a particular lesson. You can very quickly, and this is a tool built into Microsoft Office. I'll show you what some of that looks like in a second. So you can create a new poll, and it gives you some of the options that you get when you're working with forms. But again, this is very much more poll oriented. But again, you can have multiple choice questions. You can do some open-ended, some very simple things if you want to do something very quick in class in Teams. And I'm not sure what, this was another MindMeister. I was fooling around with what that looked like. But again, if you're in Teams and we know we can create different channels and give more channels some, a channel can be a subgroup in a class. It could be, say, a fixed group that's working on a project. They can have their own channel in Teams, and we have talked about that. But you can add a tab to your channel, and these are all of the tabs. That's not true. That's not all of them, because if you keep scrolling,
you get sore.
You can go on and on and on. I'm working my way through some of them. Just, you wouldn't use it in the classroom. It's, let's say business oriented, or some I'm just I just want to know what some of these are. You can build in, like it's here with YouTube. If I build this, if I click on this, it's going to add a tab to YouTube, add it to the team, and then install it. But what you would do then is plug in the URL, and then that would be a video that played on that channel in your team. It would go right there. The same with a PowerPoint, the same with a Word document, same with a website. If you're, you mentioned web quests. If we're doing a web quest, you might build in a couple of websites into a channel that a group is maybe studying, animals, species that are becoming distinct, or habitats, and so on. So this group is studying that. You could build in a couple of websites that only that channel, that group of kids would be working on, and just limit where they can go on the internet. And so there's some other ones here. I'm just going to keep exploring. As long as they're free and as long as they're accessible, I'll see whether or not they are. Look, even down at the bottom of the company, I scrolled through, and yet there are more. Now here's Polly, the one, and again, very, very straightforward. Yammer came and went. That was a little chat thing. I see Trello from time to time. Lets your team work more collaboratively. That might be something I'm exploring with these add-ins to your team. But I mean, look at a lot of these. Again, are business oriented. I want to see which ones are school oriented. We still, and I keep promising, and I still can't get there. I was messing with it earlier today, trying to think of how we could introduce Flipgrid. We talked about it some time ago, but this is a terrific collaboration tool. It takes advantage of some of the newer devices we have in schools with the front or the keyboard facing camera, and kids could do some reading. They could read a passage. I saw an idea today where, let's say you're reading a story, and it might be in a channel. The kids in the channel, each kid could have their own grid, and they could read, like we do the round robin reading. They could read a paragraph or two. They could read a page, and then the next student reads it aloud on the grid, and then the thing is shared out to the whole class. So you get a whole different mix. That's kind of like with the the tech integration. We kick it up a couple notches when we involve the technology. So the kids, you would see the student and hear the student reading a particular passage, and then the next passage. Or we got a week left to work in poetry. A group could be reading their favorite poem, and do some things with it there. Here's a thing link that we well, not in a year or two, perhaps, Gina, we talked about ThingLink, but
Oh,
it's
yes.
still a cool
Yeah,
tool
oh, it is.
that I think kids take an image and link to different parts of the image out to, resources. It might be a video, it might be an image that they link to, and so here I see a lot of Nearpod. I don't know if anybody's doing that, and how many are doing it in Niagara Falls, but this is a very popular collaboration app that that's a favorite of a good number of teachers all over the place. That and Flipgrid. So we're going to look at more of this, but again, this is all in Teams. You've got some time coming. If you're not traveling, you want to explore, go into your Office 365, create a team as a sandbox, and play with it. There are some new features coming in Teams. Like, for example, here, I haven't seen the upgrades yet on my school device, which is this. Let's see. There's quite a few things that are built in. Stream, again, that's a video thing. You can build in I see a wiki here. You can build a wiki tab here. So it could go right to some information, maybe to kickstart a project that kids are working on. So I was looking at that. Jane, I say I don't want to get into too much of it. I just want to kind of
Good highlights.
Yes, exactly. And then the other thing I did want to talk about, I mentioned it last time, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be kicking in here, is my Wakelet add in here, which is just awesome tool.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No. That article that you had sent about Wakelet.
Yes.
Shared. I thought that was an article that I don't know. Did you? Oh boy, did you post that in one of the flipboards? It might be something.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I did it in the PLN flipboard.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I don't. My apps aren't working here. Like I said, I'm in a area of the house which isn't getting the strongest Wi-Fi feed. But we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Is Wakelet is just one of those things that we've kind of evolved. Even before Flipboard, didn't Chrome have a place that we were collecting articles and information?
Oh yeah.
And sharing them out there? Then they took that away. I can't remember the name of it, but we kind of evolved and went into Flipboard magazines. I don't know if I can get there here, if it'll get me in real quick.
Flipboard, yeah.
Well, we have our own accounts.
It's fairly slow.
There we go.
Yeah, it does load very slowly, but that's.
Well, and I also.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it is going to take a while, but yeah, you're cool. Yeah. There you are.
Here my 106 magazines. I haven't done much with it this school year. Started off strong with Just Tech, but this is another of those curation tools that we're talking about as the fifth C, with collaboration, communication, creative thinking, and creative problem solving, a way to store and manage the information that we're getting when we go out to the internet. I use this more on my handheld device than I do on a desktop here, but it's just another place to start collecting things. And what I'd like to do is encourage teachers in a classroom. You can have a Wakelet, you can have a classroom Flipboard, and kids can all contribute to it, much like you and I do. We co-collaborate on a couple of those magazines, and feed it. An entire class could go out and feed an end of the year project. They could do a number of things and put all the information that they find in a single location that they can then manage into some kind of a report and so on. But this, I think, visually, it's excellent. It also looks pretty good on a handheld device on your smartphone, as well as Wakelet does, and it's just, I don't know if this is wanting me to, oh, here it comes. Save item 2. Okay, this is the Flipboard. This is my Wakelet here. And these are similar to Flipboard. These are collections, that's maybe file drawers of sites and things that I have found. But these can also be collaborated. You can share them. It depends whether you make them public or not. But I think within a classroom, that is also manageable. So if kids are going out, each has, okay, Bobby's got to go find images of a species that's endangered of becoming extinct, and somebody else has to go find another piece of information, maybe a map of where those locations are, and so on, and just put all that information together for, okay, this is what we've learned together about this topic, whatever it happens to be. So again, my theme is becoming curating. I'm not a docent in museum, but maybe I am in the, oh, here, Gene, the Museum of the Mind.
There you go.
How do we handle all of the world's information that is readily available to us?
We can't.
You know? Plus, we can't. We can attempt. This was actually a fun article. I think that's the one
Yes.
Isn't that the one we put up? And here you are putting stuff up.
Yeah, I put some.
Let me click on that, then I'll get out of here because
Oh, that's fine. You
get out of here.
Yeah.
10 ways to wrap. This is from. There was another Ditch That textbook.
Yes.
Had some 10 year-end activities.
Yes.
And so that were similar to this. This isn't the one I was thinking of. But again, on that theme of collaboration, kids working together in a convenient, engaging manner, that being the devices we're giving them, and it's fun, and they can do this. And once the year-end testing is over and all the benchmarks and stuff, and maybe we can relax a little bit and give them free rein on some of their things for, say, the last quarter of the year. Might be fun. Because we come back from spring break, Easter break, boom, May, and things change dramatically when we start to see the end of the school year at the end of the tunnel there. So Gene, I'll turn that back. I had a couple of notes, and that was basically.
That's fine.
Yeah, I say behind the scenes. That's how easy that MindMeister is.
Okay.
Just get in there and
maybe this summer, if there's some interest, we can run a little study group.
If summer doesn't get canceled, I don't know.
Oh, I hope not.
We'll see.
We will see.
We'll see.
Okay. You know, Raj, you gave me two thoughts while you were talking, so whenever you want, go ahead.
I'm trying to find it. My sharing here. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'll give it back. There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, two things. Well, that's not the first thing. There's the Buffalo Evening News. Hey, I just saw this on your on your screen, and I thought, hey, I don't know if we've shown this to people. As we were going through the Edge browser, the Microsoft Edge, we showed something how Edge can do this, but this is a cool little addition that you can add in. It's called the Mercury Reader, and it's extension. We've talked about extensions before for Chrome that you can add in here that kind of do little tools that will help you do things. And this one is pretty useful, right, Raj? I saw you had it, and
it's in my toolbar, right?
Yeah, and I was going to I thought, oh boy, yeah, and I had an article from the Buffalo Evening News I was going to show, and of course in the last hour, they've changed it, and it's no longer there. So let's just do this. We have an article here. Yeah, many of you know that the Sabres have asked their coach to leave. They're getting a new coach. All right. Anyhow, we have an article here. Now, if you wanted to read this with the kids, this is cool, but we have a couple of pictures. We have ads down the side. We have ads in the middle. We have all kinds of, things that might disrupt and stuff at the bottom. Mercury Reader is an extension. It's right here. It's that little guy right there that if you click on it, will take the article, cut out all of the other stuff, and bring you just the article itself. Wow, okay? Pretty good. What's even nicer, and I hope this works because it has been known to work, and you may have to do it. I played with it a couple times. And sometimes you have to do it 2 or 3 times. When you go to print, okay, notice it only printed the first page here this time. I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to try it. See if it does it just one more time, because sometimes it does all of them. Yeah. Huh. Now it's not doing it. But again, you just have to do it a couple of times, and it will print the entire article. What's also nice is if this little reader is nice in that you want to, say you want to put this on your smart board, you can, up in the top here, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little, the little wheel. And there are some changes that you can make to make it better. Here's a text, small, medium, large. Okay, you can make it larger so that it broadcasts or better. Now the typography, how do you pronounce that word? Is it serif or serif? Sans?
Yes.
Yes. Anyhow, do you know basically the difference of those little things at the bottom, aren't they? I think that's with and without, right? This one is sans, means without those little things at the bottom. And now they got
without the serif.
Yeah, those are serifs. Okay. And also, we talked about in, if you feel that sometimes the readers might be better able to read something that is being put on the smart board, you can change it to a dark, and it gives it a little bit better. But it's called the Mercury Reader. If you want to get out of it, you just go click on anywhere off to the side, and it's gone. And again, if you go to the Chrome Web Store, type in Mercury Reader. Takes you, 15 seconds to install that? And it's a really good little extension. I like that extension very much. Find it, it's very, very useful. Hey, we had talked about, real quickly, I probably lost them all now. We were talking about WebQuest, and so I had to show you. This is the original WebQuest page. And I think, wow, it says it was developed in 1995. This page was copyrighted 2017, so it is getting a little older. But this is it. And just to show you, you can find WebQuests here, and it'll take you here. And you can do a Google search, but I don't recommend that. Search the WebQuest database. And now let's just say, I don't know. I hope I spelled that right. In the title or description, you could, if you want, you can even, okay, we want English language arts. So you can select a grade. Let's do 9 through 12, and we'll search. And here are the, okay, wow, okay, is Shakespeare relevant today? Romeo and Juliet, things like this, okay? Some of them don't really seem to be appropriate, but all right. But again, let's just take out, I don't know. All right, well, let's do a search here. There's Shakespeare. Okay. Did Shakespeare write Shakespeare? And these are shared, so you can go in here. And actually, this is what a WebQuest is for your knowledge. It has a little introduction where the author or whoever is writing it, the teacher, will explain what the web quest is about and why the students are taking it. Then there is a task, what they're going to do, their goal, their expectations. Then there's a process, and in the process it says look at the first set of links. They have some links and materials that the students can use, share maybe. Here are some articles dealing with Shakespeare did not exist. Shakespeare did not, it did exist. Then the evaluation. Here's a Shakespeare rubric. I don't know what that is, so I'm going, it downloaded it down here. I'm not going to open it up right now, but it is probably a guide as to writing an evaluation. Then they have a conclusion, okay? And they also, he was being nice, so he gave some credits and some permissions to show that he has used all, the copyright regulations and so forth. But that's basically what a web quest is. Now this, as I said before, is kind of the older web quest, okay? The new one, let's see, this is the new one, okay? It's called Quest Garden. And you can see it says register for a free trial, subscribe. There is a charge. 1 year costs $9.95 after a 30-day trial. And this one does allow you to create your own and save them and so forth. But if you're just looking to see what's available, you might find, oh my golly, I don't know how many thousands of web quests were created. I remember back when I was teaching many years ago, creating web quests. I don't know if they're still there or not. You might be able to find one or two of mine.
At the very least, yeah, I'm going to say at the very least, you could model this in a, in any modern form, in your teams, in your notebooks, in your whatever. Just take the idea, validate some of those websites.
The process, like I say, each one has the same process, and it's a good process that takes the students very logically through the task, through the to the goal, and they can work on it themselves. That's what's very nice, and they can do a lot of self-learning this way. It's kind of guided self-learning. So recommend, take a look at that. That's pretty good. The other thing that you had mentioned, Raj, oh boy, I bet you I've lost it now. Oh boy. No, that isn't it. That isn't it. That isn't it. Oh, okay. That isn't it. Well, I'm going to have to do this, Raj. You had mentioned, hang on, let's see if we can get this in.
I disavow any knowledge.
No, I think you'll like this.
I do not recall.
Yeah, there it is. You had mentioned something about Flipgrid, about reading the first page, so forth and so on, and then you mentioned a little bit about poetry. This is a site from the Library of Congress, and Billy Collins, the poet laureate, I think was asked to set this up, if I'm not mistaken. He was asked to select the poems, and what he did was he picked a poem a day for American high schools, okay? And here's a list of them about the program and even how to read the poem out loud. We talked about Poetry Month, and here is a list of the poems, and this might be worth going through, taking a look at some. Again, in speaking and so forth and so on, there's an article here. He actually talks about it. If you want to listen to it, you could even maybe play this for your students. Have them practice, maybe film or do it on a Flipgrid. That's what. Yeah, I was just looking for the words there, Raj. Thank you. You're going to say, put it on a Flipgrid. I thought, geez, that might be something that would be good, and then you can share them. Yeah. So that would be another thing. I've got about 14 more things here, and I don't know where they are. So we're coming to the end of class. Hey, while you're gone, do yourself a favor. If nothing else, Google Cool Cat Teacher. Cool Cat Teacher has, I don't know how, was this, I don't remember how many they are now. This is for episode 465. These are 10-minute podcasts that you can, on many, many great subjects. Where are they? I think these are subject areas. You can go through here. Is this where they all are listed? They were listed. They are listed in here somewhere. Okay, a 10-minute cast. Yeah, this is, I think, where they are. You will see it be, and you can either just click on them and listen to them on your computer. You can get them from iTunes if you are, but they are great. How? Oh, this is a. I'm in the process of trying to buy this book, Raj. This is a really good book, a graphic novel for teachers. It looked really cool. How to help kids ask more amazing questions now. Things like that. Great 10-minute things that you can listen to. Maybe you can set it up, listen to it in your car, or when you're going for a walk, something like that. I think Rod, you did that, or at least I don't know.
I still do.
Yeah. And they're great little things that you can do. Hey, and with that, I think we've reached the magic hour of 9 o'clock almost, and want to remind you that you will be receiving a thank you email as usual, and we hope that you will take a little time to click on it and click on the survey and fill it out and let us know what was good, maybe what you need to know more about. We're talking about curation and things like that. Hey, if you have any great ideas for things that you might like to study during the summer, maybe a 2-hour or a 3-hour session, or even longer, let us know. Give us some topics and we'll be glad to look into those as well. And with that, we're going to say good evening. Have a wonderful, quick week. Have a great break, and we shall see you upon your return. Okay?
Yes.
Raj?
Yes. Enjoy your spring break, Easter vacation, travel or not.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the other side.
Take care, everybody. Good night.
Good night, all.